Welcome to the Racing Podcast. I am Louis, and today I will be talking you through all 9 races for day 2 of the Breeders' Cup. So we start off race 1, which is race 3 on the Keeneland card, and that is the Grade 1 Breeders' Cup Filly and Mares Sprint. 13 go to post in this over the 7 furlongs, and there are 2 horses that I like in this. That is number 5, Frank's Roquette, a 5-year-old mare, and number 8, Goodnight Olive, a 4-year-old filly. So I will start off with my selection, which is number 5, Frank's Roquette. What I like about this horse is the fact that, obviously, 1, she's been very consistent over the last 6 runs. Has only managed to win once. That was last time out over the 7 furlongs. I believe that's Churchill. I'm not entirely sure. I'll double check that. But that was just a minor stakes race worth 250,000. No, it wasn't actually. It was Charlestown, which is, I believe, in Cincinnati. That's probably not the greatest race to win, but she did manage to win by 6 lengths. So that's that is obviously a positive, but just the fact that in grade 2s and grade 3s she's been coming second, so a bit of second-itis for a while now. But I think at 6-1, she's worth a shot. She's got an early speed figure of 91, closing speed figure of 92, has had 2 attempts here at Keeneland and hasn't finished within the top 3. So that is a kind of a concern, but that probably then translates into the price of 6-1. So it's not all bad. And also the fact that here in the UK, Sky Bet is paying for 5 places instead of 3. So you kind of think, well, okay, even if she doesn't win or hit the top 3, even if she finishes 5th, that's still going to be good enough to get a bit of your each way stake. And also she's 9-1 with Sky Bet, so that's not as bad as 6-1, which was just the morning line odds in America. But also it's the fact that her last 3 buy speed figures have been 100 or more. Last time out, which was in Charlestown, that victory, she managed to put up a 104 buy speed figure, and the par in this race is 100. So it's not kind of massively above par for this race, but it's something that's slightly above average, which you would kind of expect for that type of race that she was running in. But also the fact that it was over 7 furlongs, and then the other 5 in her last 6 have been over 6 furlongs or 6.5 furlongs. So you can kind of think, well, maybe it was just a step up to 7 furlongs managed to get her back winning. But we won't know until Saturday. But I think, 9-1 is a great price. I will shed some light on Goodnight Olive, and I believe she's the morning line favourite of 3-1. I'm not too sure whether she's still the favourite. Yes, she is. She's 11-4 with Sky Bet, but it's just the fact that you look at her and she's been very consistent. Won her last 5 and hasn't finished outside the top 2 in her last 6. So very consistent. Has only ever had 6 runs lifetime, so whole lifetime she's never been outside the top 2. But this is obviously something that she's never experienced before. So will she be able to handle it? I don't know, but has got a good chance. Has been at Keeneland once, won once. This distance 3 times, has won 3 times. Has got an early speed figure of 102, closing speed figure of 79, which is pretty good. Last time she managed to put up a by a speed figure of 102. That was in a Grade 1 over Saratoga back in August 28th. So, yeah, she's definitely got some ability. Will she be able to win this? I do not know. But obviously Chad Brown isn't a fool. Neither is Irad Ortiz. So they obviously know that she might be good enough for this race, so they're just going to put her in and see. So, yeah. But for me, I don't like the 3-1. So that's why I've gone for number 5, Frank's Rocket, for an each way play. So that is my selection for each way. Moving on to race number 2, which is race number 4 on the Keeneland card, and that is a Grade 1. It's the Breeders' Cup Turf over 5.5 furlongs, 16 go to post, but you have 2 also eligibles, which is Dancing Buck and Oceanic. So those 2 are probably won't win, or even won't even run, I should say. So, yeah, really those 2 just keep in mind, but there's nothing really to worry about. But in this race, there is only one horse that I like. I'm sure anybody who has already done their form study, they probably know exactly what I'm going to talk about, and that is number... If I can find him, he's disappeared. Here he is. Number 8, Golden Pal, is the Morning Line favourite, and I believe is the current favourite. I will double check, and he is, yes. He's the 8, no he's not, he's 15-8 favourite. So, yeah, I'll get started. Right, it's a 4-year-old colt, trained by Wesley Ward. It's got an early speed figure of 131 and a closing speed figure of 65. Has been here at Keeneland on the turf course 4 times, has won 4 times, has been over this trip 11 times, won 8 times, and come second once. So 9 out of 11 is not bad for being in the top 3. His last 6 runs, he's won 5 of them. The only time when he didn't win was when he came to the UK for Royal Ascot, when I believe, yes, I watched that race and he walked out of the stalls. He did not even, it was like he just didn't realise what was actually happening, which partly I feel sorry for Irad Ortiz actually, because in America they're used to a bell ringing before the stalls open. So, yeah, you can kind of understand why Irad wasn't actually prepared, but there's no real excuse. On form, that doesn't look great. Obviously, she finished, I think it was last, but it says beaten 19 3/4 lengths, which isn't great. But when she came back to Saratoga on the 5th of August, she won that by a head, and then last time out at Keeneland on the 8th of October in a Grade 2, she won that, he won that, I don't know why I said she, he won that by 1.5 lengths, beating Oceanic and number... I could be here all day trying to find the horse that he also beat, but I will find it, number 14. I'm not... Tempus City Limits, I believe that's how you pronounce it, I'm not too sure. But yeah, so going back to Golden Pal, I just think, to be honest, this is a very, I wouldn't say easy, there's no Breeders' Cup race that is easy, no matter who you are. You could be Flight Lion, Cave Rock, Golden Pal, whoever, it doesn't matter. You're not going to win easily. It's not going to be as simple, just turn up and you're going to win. But I do think that this is probably going to be the easiest race that Golden Pal will face in a Breeders' Cup. But yeah, that's why he's 2-1 favourite. But also that there is possibility that he could get beat. that's not really anything out of the ordinary, really. That it's a Breeders' Cup race. Everyone's going to be there. Everyone's going to be on their A game. You hope to think that that is the case. So, yeah, he might get beat. But for me, I think he's definitely the best bet for this race. Moving on to the next race, which is race number 3. Race number 5 in the Keeneland card, and that is the Grade 1 Breeders' Cup Dirt Mile. The trip is in the name, 1 mile, and 11 go to post. In this race, I only like 2 runners. They're drawn next to each other, so if something happens and they both get wiped out early on, so that's not going to be great. But we'll hopefully we fingers crossed nothing happens. That it's just a clean break and everyone's away nice and smoothly. The first horse that I like is number 6, Laurel River even, 4-year-old colt, with an early speed figure of 117 and a closing speed figure of 74. To be completely honest, I think he's actually in pretty good form, actually. Has won his last 3 runs and, put up a 108 buy speed figure last time out. The par buy speed figure for this race is 109, so he's basically there at this sort of level. That was a Grade 2, which he won by 3 3/4 lengths. He did beat a horse in this race, but because DRF only provide you the top 3 in that race, he could have beaten more. I'm not too sure, but I do feel that he's actually a quite a good horse. 9-2 is not a bad price at all, but I just feel that in this contest, I'm just checking the odds for Sky Bet, and he's now 100 to 30, which is 3.33 to 1. So isn't really kind of gathering any value, really. He's actually getting shorter, which I'm not a massive fan of. Has never been at Keeneland, has only been over this trip twice, but won twice, so that's obviously positive. The only negative about him really is that the 2 victories over a mile was in a optional claimer for 40,000 and an optional claimer for 80,000. That's the only downside to him, really. But has got very good early speed, so he could get away. But my main play for this race is number 7, Cody's Wish. It's a 4-year-old colt as well. He's 5-2, I should say. Morning line favourites. Has an early speed figure of 97 and a closing speed figure of 100. Has never been to Keeneland. Has raced over this trip 5 times and 5 victories. His last 3 runs has made him produce a 100 plus by a speed figure. Last time out in a Grade 1 over 7 furlongs at Saratoga, he won that by 1 1/4 length, and that managed to allow him to put up a 112 buyer speed figure. And also considering that it's 109 buyer speed figure for this race, it's par. To me, that says that he's really, really good for this race. But yeah, there's obviously a chance that there's a couple of horses that could try and run away with it. But I'm not really that bothered. I just feel that he is very good. He beat Jackie's Warrior last time out, so that's the type of horse that you're kind of dealing with, really. Trained by William Mott. Junior Alvarado takes a ride today. I just feel like he is the best horse in this race, I think, especially on buy speed figures. So yeah, in this race, in the Breeders' Cup Dirt Mile, it's going to be number 7, Cody's Wish, to win. Moving on to race number 4, which is race number 6 in the Keeneland card, and that is the Grade 1 Breeders' Cup Filly and Mares Turf. That is over 1 mile and 3/16, which is what, 1.5 furlongs. So 1 mile, 1.5 furlongs. 12 horses go to post. In this, there are two horses that I like in this, and that's number 3, Nashwa, and number 11 in Italian. Start off with Nashwa, just because it's number order, it's easier. So yeah, Nashwa. I truly think the Nashwa is actually an incredibly good horse. To be honest, I actually rate the owner of this horse incredibly highly for giving Holly Doyle the opportunity to be on this horse. She has ridden him how many times? He's had 7 runs lifetime. All the time. In each of each of her runs, Holly Doyle has been the rider. So I give the owner of Nashwa full marks for doing that, because it just proves that female jockeys can ride just as well as the men. To be honest, I've always said it from the start that in my mind there is no real difference. Physically, there's no real difference. I'm not being funny. Like, doesn't matter whether if you're a man or a woman, you still have to ride at the same weights. And you do the same training, you do the same workouts, you do the same everything. So I can't see any difference really. But anyway, talking about the actual horse, Nashwa, she is very good. There is no doubt about it. She's never been out to Keeneland before, so you can't really say anything about that. But has been over this trip 4 times, 3 victories and 1 second. So that's pretty good. It's obviously a good start. Last time out in Paris-Longchamp, which was a Grade 1, comes second. Only beaten 3/4 of a length. So there's nothing really that much to say about it really. On soft ground, this is obviously going to be firm ground. There's no buyer speed figures or early or closing speed figures, so that's obviously the downside. But I just don't like the fact that she is 5-2. That's the big thing that I don't like. And considering that she's going to have to go 2 turns, some horses don't like it. It's just a fact. Some don't like it. So I'm kind of wondering, 5-2, is it worth risking that sort of price on a horse that you don't know whether if she actually likes 2 turns or not? For me, I'm just thinking, well, it's not really my sort of play. But I've found an alternative, which is an each way alternative. But I think considering that you're gonna get, he's not each way. No, he is. I'm kind of confusing myself here. Which race is it? It's the Breeders' Cup. Here we go. She is. I need to stop saying that. I need to get that right. She is each way, 7-1, but morning line odds of 7-2. So I don't quite know how that's happened. But the horse I like in this spot is number 11 in Italian, trained by Chad Brown, ridden by Joe Rosario. Has won her last 2 runs, which were both Grade 1s, over 1 mile and 1/8 and a mile. Only downside is she's never been over this trip before, but has won at Keeneland. So you're kind of looking at the opposite, that she's never run over this far before, but she's won over Keeneland. So yeah, but I think the fact that she's won over a mile and an eighth is a positive, because you're just going to step up half a furlong. So it's not that far, but yeah, obviously you would like at this sort of level to see a horse win at this sort of trip. But positive that I love about in Italian is that she is a UK bred horse, and UK bred horses and European horses have done pretty well in this race in the last kind of 10 years. So you're kind of getting an extra advantage. You're going to get a bigger price. You're going to get a historically better bred horse over the last 10 years. Also the fact that she's gone 2 turns before, tick. Last 2 runs, 100 plus by speed figure for a race that par by speed figure has been 104. Last time out in Italian put up 104. Time before that 102. So yeah, I would say she's going to be pretty good in this race. I think 7-1 actually is a very good price. What do they pay? They pay 4 places. So there you go. Even if she doesn't get second or third, you're going to get your money if she comes fourth. So yeah, there's obviously a big positive for that one. But in this race, number 4, number 6 on the Keeneland card, the Breeders' Cup Filly and Mares Turf is going to be number 11 in Italian for each way. Now moving on to race number 5, which is race 7 on the Keeneland card, and that is a Grade 1, the Breeders' Cup Sprint over 6 furlongs. How many go to post? 11 go to post, and I only like one horse in this race. I'm sure many people already know who I'm going to say, because in my mind it's copy and paste sort of stuff. I don't really know what that means, but yeah, I'm just kind of making things up at this point. But no, number 9, Jackie's Warrior, a 4-year-old colt, 4-5 morning line favourite, has an early speed figure of 124, closing speed figure of 68. Last 4 runs have managed to get her 105 by speed figure or above, which is really good. It's really good. Has only been to Keeneland once, and that was a no-show. Over this trip 5 times, won 4 times. The other run was a no-show as well. But I just think, yeah, I think it was something like she's won at Saratoga 3 years in a row at like a Grade 1 level. So I just think that, yeah, he has more than enough ability, I think, in this race to win. I just can't understand how he hasn't won a Breeders' Cup race already. But yeah, it is what it is, really. The past, obviously. Yeah, it's all about the here and now, and hopefully he wins. I think at 4-5, obviously, odds on isn't great. I would prefer evens, maybe even odds against. I think that might be a little bit better. But in terms of the buy speed figures, the par buy speed figure for this race is 108. Last time out, Jackie's Warrior put a buy speed figure of 109 up, which, yeah, in a Grade 1 at Saratoga, yeah. Hang on, that's actually a second place. So yeah, just to finish second and have a really good buy speed figure behind Cody's Wish, which I mentioned earlier on in the podcast. So obviously, if Cody's Wish can win, that boosts Jackie's Warriors form up even more. So yeah, that's a plus. But I'm not really worried about that type of form for a second. I'm just bothered about whether if Jackie's Warrior can actually go out and win. I think he has to. I think in my mind, but a lot of things has to happen, and if they don't, it is no real problem. I think it's just making sure that you kind of find the best horse in the race, and I personally believe that Jackie's Warrior is the best horse in the race. I feel like I'm kind of making more of it than what it really is. But anyway, in this race, number 5, 7 on the Keeneland card, the Breeders' Cup Sprint is going to be Jackie's Warrior, number 9 to win. Now moving on to race number number 6. To be honest, I'm losing track. The more deeper we're going into this podcast, the more I'm kind of forgetting what race I'm trying to look at. So number 6 is number 8 on the on the Keeneland card. It is a Grade 1. It's the Breeders' Cup Mile. Exactly what it says. It's over a mile. 16 go to post with 2 also eligibles. That is Front. No, it's not. It's Front Run the Fred. No, blimey, I can't even talk. Front Run the Fed and Gear Jockey. I'm not sure whether if they're going to turn up, but to be honest, the morning line odds suggest they won't, and they're both 30 to 1, so I don't think they're gonna turn up. But in this in this race, only one horse that I like, and that's number 4, Modern Games, a 3-year-old colt, won at the Breeders' Cup last time. That was in a juvenile race. This is in a more. I don't mean to sound disrespectful to the juveniles, but sorry. But I don't know. I feel like these races for day 2 is. I wouldn't say they're more important, but they carry more weight to them. If you win a Breeders' Cup juvenile race, that's obviously well done. Like you're good for a youngster sort of thing, like a 2-year-old. You're really good. But then obviously if you win on the Saturday as an established racehorse, then people will be talking about you for a lot more and for a lot longer. Sorry. But yeah, he's got a early speed figure of 83 and a closing speed figure of 116. The last time that he was here, it was actually in Canada, in Woodbine. That was a Grade 1 over the Woodbine Mile. He won that by 5 and a quarter lengths, putting up a 112 buyer speed figure, which is pretty good. So, yeah, but the only concern I've got is just the fact that he came back to the UK for Champions Day in the QE2, and he just, he comes second, beaten 1 and a quarter lengths. So I'm kind of wondering how much is that actually taken out of him. I don't know. I'll be honest with you. I don't know. I don't know how much that is actually taken out of him. But I just feel that if it's not taken anything out of him really, I think that he's got a very good chance of winning this. But obviously we'll have to wait and see until Saturday. He's won over this trip 3 times out of 5. He comes second twice, so he's been in the top 2, 5 out of 5 times in his life, which obviously is a positive. But it's just about last time out. I'm just kind of questioning it. It's like the more that I'm listening to other people and saying, "What do you think?" and then they're kind of giving me their opinions. It's like Oh no, have I made the wrong decision? But I don't know. Have I made the right decision? I don't know. So we will see on Saturday, obviously. But I just like him really. I just feel like he has got a really good chance. But also that there are obviously a lot more horses in here that have got have got good chances, I should say. But yeah, for this race, number 6, race number 8 on the card, in the Grade 1 Breeders' Cup Mile, it's going to be number 4, Modern Games to win. So moving on to race number 7, which is race number 9 on the card, and that's a Grade 1, it's the Breeders' Cup Distaff, over a mile and 1 furlong. And there are 8 horses going to post in this, but there's only one horse that I like, really. I know many people would be saying Nest, some people might be saying Clairiere, some might even say Secret Oath because of her win in the Kentucky Oaks back in May, but there is only one horse that I like, and that is number 1, Malathart. There have been quite a few occasions when Malathart and Clairiere and also Secret Results have met, and there has been almost constantly changing results. But I just feel that on this occasion, Malathart should win. Yeah, it's just as simple as that, really. Early speed figure of 82 and a closing speed figure of 114. Last time out in a Grade 1, Spinster Stakes at Keeneland, over the mile on the 8th, it's basically course and distance, won that by 5 1/4 lengths, beating Army Wife in second, and played hard in third. So, yeah, to me that says everything, that you can turn up in a Grade 1, so she can turn up in a Grade 1 and win like that. But it's just the fact that if Clairiere and Search Results turn up at the top of their game, it's not going to be a walkover for Malathart. But 3-1 morning line, I would take that risk, to be honest. 3-1 is pretty good for Malathart. Obviously, if you said 3-1 for Blue Stripe, I wouldn't say that was good odds. But the buyer speed figure par for this race is 104. 3 out of the last 6 runs for Malathart have been 100 plus. 2 of them was 105 and the other one was 106, so has been above par for this race. Has won 3 out of the 4 last 6 runs. But actually, what I didn't know until I did the form last night was that she's actually never been outside the top 3 in her life. Out of 13 runs, 9 victories, 3 seconds and 1 third. That is incredibly impressive. And I think that, in the distaff, I think she'll give you a very good run for your money. So in this race, it is number 1, Malathart, to win. Now moving on to race number 8, which is race number 10 on the Keeneland card. And I'll keep on saying that, but yeah, it's just a habit now. This is a Grade 1. It's the Breeders' Cup Turf over a mile and a half. 13 horses go to post, but there's only one horse that I like in here. I've heard some people say that it's a bit kind of not odd, but and some people don't agree with me on this. But I like number 2, Warlike Goddess. Don't like her odds really of 9-2. I'd like a bit bigger for an each way play. But I just like the fact that she's just been super consistent throughout the last 6 runs. Also, really in her life, 12 runs, 9 wins, and then another 2 places. So have been super consistent really throughout her life. It's a 5-year-old mare. Early speed figure, I was a little bit baffled when I saw this last night. it says here an early speed figure of 13. So basically, according to DRF, she walks out of the stalls every time. I don't know for certain because I can't remember any of her races, to be honest. But I can't imagine that she's that slow. Otherwise, she would never win because she'd be so far back. You could go 10 miles if you wanted to. I don't think if you got an early speed figure of 113, I don't think that you'll ever catch up, no matter how far you're going. So I doubt that. I'm not obviously sure, but I doubt that. But then a closing speed figure of 106 has won 4 of her last... Sorry, excuse that. Has won 4 of her last 6 runs. 3 times she has managed to put up 100 plus by a speed figure. The par for this race is 111. Last time out in a grade 1. Over a mile and a half. She won that by 2 3/4 lengths, beating by Melvin. She managed to put up a 105 by a speed figure, so that's not bad. Obviously, it's below par for this sort of level, but I definitely think that if she was a bit bigger priced, that would be great. Another positive that I like with Warlike Goddess is the fact that she has got course and distance form. Has won over here twice, has won over a mile and a half 5 times. And yeah, I just think that considering that, I think she is really, really good. I heard Jonathan Kinchin say that the horses that she's beaten have just been kind of not awful, but just below average sort of thing. Which obviously I understand. If that is the case, then yeah. But I just like her really. She's just a super cool horse that has been super consistent throughout her career, and I just feel like this could be her day in the sun sort of thing. And I would love it obviously if she could win. I'm not sure whether she'll win or not. But I think considering the prices, I'll just check Sky Bet's prices. They are 9-2, so yeah, they're very similar. Obviously, the 9-2 morning line odds is now 9-2 current odds, which isn't great. But I just feel that you could get a run for your money with Warlike Goddess. But yeah, in race number 8, number 10 on the card, in the Grade 1 Breeders' Cup Turf, I like number 2, Warlike Goddess, as an each-way play. Now, moving on to the last race of the whole Breeders' Cup, the whole weekend, the Breeders' Cup Classic. That is, for us, that's race number 9, race number 11 on the Keeneland card. It's a Grade 1, it's worth $6 million, and it's over a mile and a quarter. 8 horses go to post in this. There's only one horse that I really like. That's number 4, Flightline. If you can find a horse that can actually beat him, I don't know. I don't know whether if you're even a robot or human. I don't know. I don't know, actually. Obviously, I know many people try to find a horse that can beat Flightline, and I think you will be studying until the cows come home, because I don't think there is one. Sorry, I think that, he is a horse of a lifetime, he is a horse of a generation, he's a horse of... I don't know what he's a horse of, to be honest. To be completely honest, when I watched him in the Pacific Classic, I questioned whether if he was even a robot or not, because it was just push button, it was just ridiculous. It was like, you watched it and it was just, the second he got to the lead, you knew he won. You knew he'd won, and it was like, I just these long gaps in this podcast is kind of saying everything, really. That he is miles ahead of any horse in the world. He will be miles ahead of all of the horses here, and that's no disrespect to any horse in this. But it's just the fact that last time out in the Pacific Classic, which is obviously a Grade 1, that was over at Del Mar over a mile and a quarter, he beat a horse called Country Grammar, which won the Dubai World Cup this year, by 19 and a quarter lengths. That is the type of horse that you're dealing with. Put up a buy speed figure of 126. The par for this race is 116. So he put 10 above the par. That is just crazy to me. Like, to have a horse that can do that is, it's just next level, really. But yeah, I think Life is Good. Not being funny, I've always been scared of Life is Good facing Flightline, because in a way they're so similar in the way they run. It's kind of like Life is Good, Flightline, and Nick's Go are so similar in terms of they just like to go to the lead and just rip the opponents apart. And I think the fact that you've got two horses like that in this race here, I wouldn't say it's going to cause trouble, because I don't think IRLTs for on Life is Good, or Flavian Pratt for who is on Flightline, I don't think they're going to go into this speed duel early on and throw away the chance to win a Breeders' Cup Classic. I just don't think that's going to happen. So I don't know what the tactics is going to be, because they're so similar. I don't know. But I feel that probably the best way in this race is to go with another horse to pair up with Flightline. And I think because of the fact that Flightline and Life is Good is so similar, I'm not going to go with Life is Good to come second. I'm actually going to go with number 6, Epicenter, to come second. And it's going to be a straight forecast. Flightline win, Epicenter second. And I just feel that because Epicenter is a closer, he likes to come off the pace and run late. I just feel this might set up spot on for him. And yeah, I think he was unlucky in the Kentucky Derby. I remember Steve Asmussen saying that he thought that Epicenter was his best ever shot at the Kentucky Derby, but I just feel that Flightline is just going to be too good. But yeah, I just feel that the fact that you're going to have someone like Epicenter who's going to be charging home late, I just feel that he's going to be so, I wouldn't say close, but I could imagine Epicenter probably being like 4th as they turn in, and you're going to have a gap between Life is Good and Flightline to someone in that kind of area, 3rd or 4th, and probably another gap back, sort of thing. But yeah, I think that Life is Good is just going to burn out. The trip is just, in my mind, is too far for him. The fact that he's only ever gone this far once, and that was in the Dubai World Cup, says it all, really, that this trip is a bit too far for him. Obviously, Flightline is trying this trip for the second time, and he did win it. So, yeah, you know that the trip's no trouble. The fact that you're at Keeneland doesn't really matter, but yeah, I mean, you've never been here before, so I suppose that could be a potential problem, but it's not really, in my mind. He's just too good. So the fact that you're going to have someone like Epicenter running home late to potentially pick up a piece, I think 5-1 is absolutely ridiculous. Like, it's too big of a price. I think if I was in charge of putting the odds up, I think I would say that he should be more like 3-1, to be honest. But yeah, looking on the on Sky Bet, Epicenter is 6-1, so he's actually even bigger than what the morning line odds suggest. So yeah, that to me that just says the most obvious thing to have Flightline win, Epicenter second. That's it. Obviously, you can say Epicenter. No, not Epicenter. Sorry. You can say the Flightline to win, of course, but then you'd be taking Sky Bet, say 2-5. So if you literally have £1, you're only going to win 40p for £1. There's no real point. There's absolutely no point whatsoever. Then obviously if you doubled up, then you're going to get obviously more. But yeah. So to round off the Breeders' Cup weekend in the Breeders' Cup Classic, my selection is number 4 Flightline / 4/6 straight forecast. But yeah, Flightline to win, I think, 100%. I think he'll win by 10 lengths or more, to be completely honest. And I truly believe that. That's not just me waffling, being completely honest. So yeah, Flightline to win. We're finally here. The end of day 2. It has been a very long podcast. I am incredibly tired, but I've enjoyed every second of it. I've enjoyed doing the form over the last 48 hours. I've enjoyed doing this podcast. I think I've started recording about 2 hours ago, so I've enjoyed all of it. It kind of feels like it's now over, even though I've still got the races to watch. I feel like all my effort it's done now. I'm now kind of surplus to requirements, which is, yeah, it's a bit sad, but it is what it is. But obviously, yeah, if you've got any questions or whatever, leave a comment down below. If you're on YouTube, if you're on Spotify, I don't know if you can leave comments or whatever, I'm not too sure. But if you're on YouTube, like, comment, subscribe, do all that stuff. Just, yeah, share it, all that stuff. But yeah, like I always say in the podcasts, this goes for obviously day 1 as well. Gamble responsibly. It's meant to be fun, so treat it as if it is fun. It's just meant to be a nice, relaxing day at the races. So just treat it as if it's that, and yeah, just enjoy it. But I don't know when the next podcast is going to be. Probably next week. But anyway, make sure you enjoy the content that I'm putting out. Obviously, I try and do more podcasts. Obviously, I'm trying to get in touch with people to do interviews with them, and everything else. So yeah, make sure you like, comment, subscribe. I know I said that already, but yeah, just make sure you do it. Share the podcasts. Share the Instagram page, which is in the about page on YouTube. So yeah, I will see you next week.